大きくなったらパパと食事をするのも嫌、お出かけするのも嫌。
You make it sound like your kid wouldn't want to pursue emancipation as soon as possible. Cold Opener featured Doremi and our spotlight character of the week, I think reenacting that one scene from Yu-Gi-Oh! The episode proper opened with the Ojamajo feeding their little god baby, all the while the supposed mature witch was eating popsicles sloppier than her and even my niece. Yeah, of all the episodes from this season, this one actually reminded me the most of my sister's daughter, which should tell you something. Later, while doing some grocery shopping, they met with their classmate Kanai Ida. She was on her way to buy a new swimsuit, but also did what I would do and buy something essential when it's on sale. Can we all just agree that's the most important lesson to take away, especially in this economy? The Ojamajo ended up following her to the swimsuit shop where even Kanai admitted that part of the reason that she needed a new one was due to her waistline, which, you know, if she's acknowledging it, then yeah, it is okay to point out that she is just a tad bit overweight and... You know what? At this point, I don't even have the energy to get pissed off at you brats. And yeah, if any of this feels familiar, it's because for whatever reason, they placed these two episodes about overweight kids just 2 weeks apart from the other. Both Spotlight characters even had a similar trait of just rolling with all of the fat jabs, though unlike with Susumu and his fried bread addiction, Kanai did at least have some self-awareness about her weight and was actively ignoring their insults, so good for her. Man, hell, maybe we'll even be able to avoid some of these stereotypical fat kid jokes like, y'all know it's coming. Fat! But yeah, they made a bet that Kanai wouldn't be able to lose 3 kilograms or 6.5 pounds, which for a child's metabolism isn't a hard task, at least compared to the 30 and over club. Still, she would need some help, so she got Doremi to join in, who of course was doing it for some steak. Yeah, I know I just said kids have good metabolism, but you really should consider some of the long-term health of your arteries there, girl. They also got some very practical and pretty real advice from Ompu. Seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if they had actually consulted some nutritional experts when writing this episode, as they did provide some lesser-known advice, like how you shouldn't midnight snack, as those are the weakest hours for your digestion. Yeah, best not to take advice from the carbo monster. On that note, I think they should have brought up how holding back on carbs is actually one of the more significant ways of losing weight, but as the Japanese man who enjoys his rice, I can't say I'd commit to that either. That said, I do agree with this bit of going on long walks for exercise. I mean, for reference, I try to walk every day for about an hour and am able to burn about an average of 500 calories, so yeah, it's a good routine. Granted, I don't power walk because that just looks lame, but whatever floats your boat. However, like any weight loss routine, temptation was a dangerous mistress. And yeah, while I could use the Steiner clip again here, there was at least a point to these gags being all about the importance of self-control, so they were at least somewhat warranted. And hell, at least Kanai's family had the right idea when it came to their main eating habits, as while they obviously could just eat their own products, especially if they buy in bulk. And yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. Just because they serve steaks doesn't mean they have to eat them. In fact, considering how often they see them on a regular basis, they probably would have cravings for some of the healthier proteins. Again, they could hold back on the carbs, but I'm one to talk. Later, it also became apparent that another noble trait of Kanai was her mother-like instincts, which was even backed up by her earlier shopping habits. It gave her a warm and inviting charisma that even one of the Stooges could recognize before he went back to his stupid routine. Wow, y'all are so bad with your jokes that you have to recycle ones from the last episode of the same subject matter. Not cool! Totally lame! Granted, moments like this does make it feel like we're just on repeat, but whatever. Back at the Beholdo, the Ojamajo tried to weigh Hana and were surprised at her weight gain. I would point out that part of that might have been because they didn't adjust the scale for the additional weight of this tub thing, but it didn't even register. So is that like a magical tub, or did they just have a crappy scale? Well, actually, there was something else to the quote-unquote issue here that most parents and uncles would know about, but more on that later. For now though, having been inspired by their decision to put Hana on a diet, Kanai took her diet a little more seriously and managed to lose 500 grams, which is about a pound, which is a reasonable amount of weight loss after what I'm assuming is about a week. I mean, if we're wearing less than 7 days, that'd be a little much.
Out of me, that's not, say no more.
Anyway, sudden health exam episode. I mean, yeah, they were hinting at it in the episode, but for the most part, this really didn't feel like your typical exam episode. Not complaining, mind you. In fact, I think it works out a little better to treat this stuff like secondary plots for now, as their certificate has been on the downturn. Anyway, they were testing to see if the kids had healthy appetites, which Hana managed to prove in quattro, I don't know, plenty of kid. Yeah, let's go with that. And yes, while stealing food wasn't a good thing, this was better for Hana, as Majohard rightfully chewed out the Ojamajo and pointed out how during the infant years, toddlers grow like weeds, so they should be fed as much as they want, and maybe even a little more. Believe you me, this uncle has the back pains to testify. Not to mention, they failed to consider body mass index, which basically suggests that taller people will only naturally be heavier, and as long as they don't go over a certain threshold, they could be considered healthy. Now, of course, BMI is not an absolute measurement, as it also doesn't quite factor in how muscle is denser than fat, so you should take it with at least a small grain of salt. And I'm not just saying that to justify how I might be a tad bit overweight. But yeah, honestly, I would side with Majohard if she wanted to penalize them for putting a baby through a diet, but they technically fulfilled their requirements, so they passed the test, I guess. Back with the Kanai plot, and whoa, okay Doremi, I took it back. Maybe you should eat a little more, you're starting to disappear. Anyway, Kanai was predictably putting herself through the very definition of a crash diet, in that she was ready to kiss the pavement at any moment. Realizing the big mistake they had made, they tried to retract on what they told her, but she had already made up her mind. The Ojamajo got so desperate that they even tried to get some help from the Stooges with predictable results. Thus, and since the show had a quota to fulfill, they asked the Magical Stage for help, and it gave them one of its rare missed calls, and a really bad one at that. Because yeah, encouraging your friend to go through a rebound is always a good idea, right? Yeah, while getting her to quit her diet was important, Kanai made the right choice in not eating all that cake, while her metabolism had likely taken a nosedive due to malnutrition. Though, on that note, she fainted in front of the Mahodo. The Ojamajo helped her home and visited her when she woke up, along with, to their credit, the SOS trio. Yeah, it only took them about a year and a half worth of episodes to do something decent and admit they had gone too far. Though, knowing these characters, they'll probably forget this lesson by the next episode. But yeah, they all brought her sunflowers, which were kinda blatantly shown off throughout the episode to symbolize Kanai, and encouraged her to just enjoy life how she wanted, including what she ate. And of course, they discovered that Kanai had grown taller, so there's that BMI thing again, and was likely the main reason she needed to get a new swimsuit. Thus, the episode ended with the growing Kana still eating, and Majrika forgetting, frog or not, an adult's metabolism isn't what it used to be, believe me. Thank goodness this is actually a much better Chunky Kid episode than the last one. Rather than just being a repetitive chain of fat jokes, they actually provide some legit Health 101 and a nice encouraging message about taking care of your body and your soul. It almost feels like this is meant to be an apology for that other episode, though of course I highly doubt that considering how close together they were, but you know, apology retroactively accepted or something like that. I wasn't kidding when I said this is like Health 101, as a handful of the stuff in this episode were things I had learned in a college course. Sure, they were simplified, but the fundamentals were still there, which is impressive for this show, as the creators clearly did their homework. Not that Kanai really needed it. I mean, she was a very likable, and probably one of the most mature members of the Ojamajo's class, not even letting the Stooges' fat-shaming bother her. And sure, getting a head start on practicing healthy eating habits is never a bad thing, but as a kid, they're not totally necessary unless they actually do reach morbid obesity. Kanai was, and let's not mince words here, overweight, but not obese, and as shown by the end, that stuff can even out later, especially at younger ages. Now, once you get older, it's a different story, but let's not talk about that depressing stuff. Because as long as she's comfortable with her current self, then she'll likely be in for a healthy life, which the episode did a great job encouraging for both her and Hana. And yes, unlike the previous outing, it wasn't just a barrage of fat kid jokes, and the stuff that was there did serve a narrative purpose rather than lead to no moral theater. And overall, this was a really solid episode with a good lesson and an amiable spotlight character. Yes, it was a short hurdle to overcome that last episode, but Kanai managed to both jump it and shine like the little sunflower she is. We're just about done with the second part of the Futai Precure review, so that should hopefully be out maybe next week, and then we can move on to another sort of overview for a different series that hopefully will be a lot shorter. We won't say what it is just yet, but it has been something we've been wanting to do for a while, in particular due to recent events regarding certain Western media. You'll see what we mean when we get to it. Look forward to it. Until then though, for now my friends, and oh, looks like my standing goal has been met for today. Well, I guess I could check out.